What's going on, YouTubers? For ladies and gentlemen, it's the Natural Born Thriller, and welcome everyone to All Elite Wrestling Review, I should say. I was gonna say reviews, but no, that's the Dark Elevation and Dark results. This will be your Saturday Night Dynamite results from June 26, 2021. Because right now, as this is recording, we're in July. And yes, this was taking place as usual at Daily's Place in Jacksonville, Florida, where commentators Excalibur, Gloria Jim Ross, and Tony Schiavone. And yeah, let's get right into this review here. The opening match was actually well, before we get to the opening match, the opening show I should say was Alex Marvez getting ready to interview Sammy Guevara, who just arrived in the building. All of a sudden, Shawn Spears comes out of nowhere, hiding from the corner, hits him in the steel chair, says, "I told you, you'll get it." Because, that's the program they're going to be doing after Sammy Guevara and MJF are done. That's being built up all routines to Wednesday Night Dynamite, which it already happened, but we'll get to when we get to that review. Once I get to, the other reviews out of the way of AEW. But, nevertheless, it's more continuing the feud between Sammy Guevara and Shawn Spears. And yeah, there you go. So then we get opening match now. Powerhouse Hobbs versus Hangman Page. And the crowds, by the way, this was a live show, by the way. A live broadcast show. It was not one of those tape shows that, the ones from they have on Fridays. This was all, live. Crowds were popping for Adam Page, and they were booing Hobbs, which rightfully so because he's a heel. Obviously, he's part of Team Taz, so they'll chant "You suck" to him and all that, and they'll chant "You still suck" because because they want to admit that he's doing something very impressive and all that. I don't know that that's supposed to be the case or whatever, but I digress. But yeah, Powerhouse Hobbs and the Hangman, we're having a very good match. And I should mention too, I think Taz was on commentary. Yes, Taz was on commentary. So the match was going great, by the way. And then we get the the BS coming up, where Hook comes out to distract the referee, and for a reason, Ricky Starks had Brian Cage's FTW World Title belt with him to give to Hobbs the music on him. And I asked myself, why does first of all, as big as Powerhouse Hobbs is, because he looks dangerous and all that, why does he need a belt to to hit Adam Page with, or any type of foreign objects to begin with, to win the match? I mean, look at him. He that alone should award him a match against to get a win over him and Adam Page, where he doesn't even need a belt or anything. What they're trying to give Powerhouse Hobbs and all that. Now, before we get to what happened next with this whole thing, there's one thing they mentioned. Adam Page bled in this match, accidentally, and it's just become a pattern for Adam Page every time he's in a match. Every time he's in a match, he gets busted open out of nowhere. He had to get back with George Janela. He bleeded twice because George Janela was being reckless. And then there was a time where Brian Cage versus Adam Page happened back at Double Nothing, and he bled there too. I don't know what's going on with Adam Page. It's like he's like Ric Flair, except when Ric Flair does it. Ric Flair always makes himself bleed because he's always got something to make himself bleed. And him and Adam Page, it's just natural that he bleeds, just like that. It's I don't know what's going on with that, but he was bleeding. And I noticed it too. As he hits the ring post right to the head. And I said, so, oh no, he's probably gonna bleed. He's probably gonna be bleeding. And sure enough, he was. He was literally bleeding, and I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. It's like Adam Page cannot go go to a match while bleeding accidentally. No matter what happens to him. But hey, man, he still got it and all that in a way. But it wasn't that bad of a bleeding, but still, it was notable. But back to this whole thing with Hobbs. So basically, host, instructor, and referee, Ricky Starks has the belt that Brian Cage is holding, and then Brian Cage comes out and gets the belt away from Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks runs away from Brian Cage because they still having issues with each other. So Taz was upset on commentary because of that. He was a guest commentary for this match, obviously. So, but in the end, it was the Hangman Adam Page getting the win with the Dead Eye. And again, Adam Page won, but Powerhouse Hobbs was for like a winner here too because he was very impressive in this match against the Hangman Adam Page. He's always been impressive, and this right here sealed it with him in the match against Adam Page. And we'll see what they do with Powerhouse Hobbs moving forward from there. But nevertheless, damn good match. What way to open up the show for Saturday Night Dynamite. They show video highlights of the AEW World Championship title match. Hype up video between Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy for the main event, which we'll get to when we get to it. I'll let you know how about the main event itself. Yeah, and it was good, Bobby. It was a good hype video to get to that main event. Brandon Cutler and the Young Bucks hanging out. Matt Jackson brings up fans calling them overrated, despite being the longest reigning tag team champions. Cutler then tries to film some details, but then they kept interrupting him and saying, "Shut up," whatever. Basically, Nick kept telling him to shut up. It kind of reminds me of The Simpsons, where Homer's trying to find out about Lenny and Carl, about how they get these things, how they get these things and all that, and how and whatever, where it takes the episode of the Stone Cutters. I think that's what this whole cult member of ship was that Lenny and Carl was, and Homer wants to be a part of it, but Homer didn't know about it first because you see Lenny and Carl having their own reserve for parking and their own chair that rumbles, rumbles. It's one of those massage chairs in a way. I don't know what they call it, but it's one of those type of chairs. And you hear Lenny saying it's a secret, and then Carl's telling Lenny, "Shut up," because it's supposed to be a secret. So that's what it kind of reminds me of when Nick Jackson telling Steve Cutler to shut up, because Steve Cutler trying to give some details, pertains to Matt and Nick Jackson being upset with the fans or whatever, and then Nick Jackson out of nowhere saying, "Shut up." And now they're talking about the whole thing with Kenta, not Kenta, Penta. I meant to say Penta. I got Kenta on my mind. Anyways, Penta and Kingston, about if they win, they get a tag team title shot, which I always fucking hate that shit. Being if you beat the champions, then you get to face the champions this time for the championship titles. I hate when they do this every time. And WWE is no better either. Impact Wrestling is no better either. Why can't they just do like our Ring of Honor does it? Or, better yet, how about do like New Japan does it? But I will get credit for Impact Wrestling though. Ace and Impact Wrestling did it right. Pertains to Kojima versus Rhino. It was a singles match. And Kojima beats Rhino, who's part of Rhino by Design, who's one half of the tag team champions. But pertains to Rhino by Design, Freebird rules. So Kojima did beat Rhino, and he got opportunity for the tag titles along with Eddie Edwards. To be partners along with him. So that's a good example too. Instead, we got to have a tag team match here, between Kingston and Penta versus the Young Bucks, which was on the Wednesday nights, not on Saturday nights, but which we'll get to when we get to that review whenever I can. But I digress. But yeah, I already got much to say about this promo, folks, because I'm getting sick and tired of the Young Bucks now. The way they're acting, everything they're just doing right now, they're treating it like it's a joke. Like the books, the book that they publish, Killing the Business. They are literally killing the business based on how they were acting right now. Not just with the way they carry themselves, or pertains to their personas, whatever, but in matches too. They're literally killing the business, and I don't mean in the fun way. I mean in the worst possible way I've ever seen out of the Young Bucks. Tony Schiavone, he interviews Tully Blanchard and Konnan. Yes, that's right, Konnan. And they play LAX theme song for Konnan for there. So Tony Schiavone was just standing there, while Konnan and Tully Blanchard are torn off for each other and all that. Which I love the segment, by the way. But why was Tony Schiavone there in the first place? He's supposed to be an interviewer to interview these guys, but instead, Konnan and Tully Blanchard did all the talking. Now, obviously, they wasn't gonna do all the talking either way, but what was the purpose of having Tony Schiavone out there, anyways? To be in the middle of this whole exchange. But Tully Blanchard says, last time he saw Konnan, he wanted to interfere in a match, but due to Konnan's legendary status, he can go first. So Konnan says that he's not intimidated by Tully's mind games. Santana Ortiz will be scared either way. Wouldn't be scared either way. Excuse me. Konnan says that FTR tried to say say they came up to the same as Santana Ortiz, but they are not really the same. Konnan brings up gangs, bringing up how trying to find food and to avoid getting profiles by police, cops, whatever we want to say. The two teams are the same. This is Konnan saying this again. Speaks in Spanish and basically telling the Tully Blanchard, pertains to because he might have because he might be having grandkids someday, because he's basically referencing Tessa Blanchard marrying to Daiga, because Tessa you should know already. Tessa Blanchard is the daughter of Tully Blanchard, and Tessa Blanchard is married to Daiga, who's from Mexico. So yeah, that's what Konnan basically brought that up. Now, and I thought it was clever too, by the way, the way it was done too. So that how Konnan said, because Konnan is a great promo. Despite all his health issues he's been going through right now, as of late, even over for the past few years. Konnan is still a very good talker, despite he cannot do what he can do anymore, which is wrestle, which I do miss him wrestling, because he was one of the best I've ever seen wrestle in WCW, TNA for a brief time until something happened to him with his kidneys, but he was one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen on TV, and I was always a fan of Konnan. K-Dog, whichever you want to say. So Tully tells that Santana Ortiz are going to be dropped when they come face to face with FTR. Konnan says, and Konnan doesn't see that happening, and hopes that Walmart is still looking for greeters. When Tully needs to find a new line of work, and then Konnan says his guys are in the back and he's already one step ahead. And then all of a sudden Santana Ortiz comes out, and basically they're wearing their bandanas over their on their mouths and all that, like they're wearing face masks, and they're and white paint, that, basically like the whole Dead President movie. Whichever I mentioned about that before, which probably great movie, great movie. So they came out and all that, right? And I can't remember if they were wearing bandanas too on their heads, whatever, or maybe a cap, whatever. So they came out there, and then all of a sudden, Konnan, Konnan then also actually no, Konnan didn't say that after that. So then Tully Blanchard said he basically tells Konnan to look at the big screen, and saying and say something now, because also we see something about two guys laying backstage, and I see myself, wait a minute, that's Santana Ortiz, and I see myself, oh, so the guys in the ring are not Santana Ortiz, it's actually FTR, and I think myself, wait a minute, so they painted themselves white, and no, actually it was actually a white mask that they were wearing, to make it look like they were wearing a white face paint. Like they got me, they got me. Maybe because I was really paying much attention to the appearance of that, but yeah, they swerved me. I don't know if any of that got swerved, but I got swerved very good. So Konnan got his ass kicked by the way, and Konnan got spiked power driver. And as he got spiked power driver, I noticed something. When he was getting spiked power driver, his belly button, unfortunately, is one of those belly buttons that's swollen and is, it's just right out of your stomach and all that, your gut, whatever. And like, wow, it's that bad. Now, last time I saw this happen with a wrestler with a belly button like that was the Iron Sheik, and that was not a pretty sight. So unfortunately, this was not a pretty sight either because Konnan, he's been doing a lot and all that, and then him seeing taking a bump like this, by the way, I was not expecting a bump like him to take here, and like, wow, insane. And then Tully Blanchard said, "What do you have to say now?" and everything, and then basically that was it. Wow, great segment, great swerve, to me, and great, just great all around on that one. Just one thing, leave Tony Schiavone out of this because Tony Schiavone really didn't benefit anything out of this. Let's be honest, he never does. Every time they have him do these interviews, they always have Tony Schiavone out there to interview, but he never does. He never really answers questions to them. He just stands there while they just take the microphone away from him. So there's no point of having Tony Schiavone being there if they're going to keep doing that shit. If you're going to have the wrestlers be in the ring and cut a promo, then let them cut a promo. Why you need Tony Schiavone out there to do to stand with them, to cut this quote unquote interview that's not really an interview to begin with. It's annoying. So let me get to the next match, which is Matt Sydal versus Dante Martin. But they get interrupted by Vicky Guerrero, and some of women, right? Vicky Guerrero's come out to interrupt this of all things to interrupt. She interrupts this. So she said, excuse me and everything. She introduces Andrade El Idolo. And in terms of what's this? I guess maybe they're gonna announce this announcement they was gonna make. This big announcement. Which there was, but then Matt Sydal's music hits comes out. He comes out. Oh, I should mention too, by the way. Dante Martin came out first. He came out first, and then that's when the Vicky Guerrero came out and interrupt and all that. And then Matt Sydal came out to interrupt. And then Andrade was going to look like he looks going to beat up on Matt Sydal there, but Vicky Guerrero's like, nope, let him be. You'll give him another time. So there you go. So Matt Sydal's being accompanied by his brother Matt Sydal. After Matt Sydal goes up against on Dante Martin, and this match I thought was good. A very good match, back and forth. Some people say this was a match that could have been saw on Dark, either Dark Innovations or maybe on Dark, where Dark shows you want to put on. But I can excuse this because this match, this type of match, you need a match like this to really cool down the excitement of the fans and for the to save the energies for later on of the main event, which we'll get to when we get to it. So I was fine with this match on the show. In the end, Matt Sydal wins the match. So obviously, with Matt Sydal winning, coming into it as well, that's himself. Matt Sydal's probably gonna win because I think Andrade El Idolo, this could be something coming up for them, which it ends up being. Which we'll get to that when we get to the next review of on the Wednesday Night Dynamite show. So tune for that one. Jungle Boy, he talks about his match against Kenny Omega that he's going to have. It's one of his, he's going to have the biggest match of his night, of his life, I should say. And Christian Cage shows up, and he's like, "Yes, indeed, it is the biggest night of your life." And says, Jungle Boy basically asks Christian, how is he, doing with Team Taz and everything? And Christian Cage is like, that's fine, whatever. But it's not about me. It's about you tonight and everything. Blah blah blah. Says to Jungle Boy that he shouldn't be nervous, but he should be angry. He should be mad that King Omega thinks that basically say that he's not on his level or something like that. It was certain to that degree where but he basically told Jungle Boy to shut the world, just like you shut the world when you won the casino battle royale. So yeah, that was much. Jungle Boy didn't really say much of it. It was basically more Christian Cage saying that something than Jungle Boy was, but it's whatever. But yeah, we'll get to the main event later. Um, Smart Mark Sterling, hyping hashtag Jade brand, and talks about on AEWshop.com. Shop at AEW, I should say. He mentions that buying a Dark Order T-shirt, whatever. And Lucas gonna rip it up. He was gonna rip it, but he couldn't rip it. So Jay Cargo snatches away from him, and he's like, forget it. He says they have already sold a ton of Jay Cargo's T-shirts, including most and triple XLs. Okay, which is not surprising considering the fans. And then Jay Cargo says, she's undefeated and she is still that B, as she tears the Dark Order T-shirt. And I'm like, now there's someone that could tear up his T-shirt because of her size and because she works out and all that. She is that, and and like you said, she is that B. I won't say it B. You know what I mean? But I thought it was good though. Very, very good. Alex Marvez, he goes to talk to MJF, John Spears, and Wardlow. MJF says that nobody wants to hear Alex Marvez, and starts talking. He says he knows fans are mad about what happened with Chris Jericho. Retains to the whole thing from Blood and Guts, I guess, whatever. And then what happened with Sean Spears by the hands of Sammy Guevara, excuse me, by the hands of Sean Spears. That's what I meant to say. And then what happened with and then he talks about what happened with Dean Malenko by being up an old man who has Parkinson's disease and a bad heart, and talks some trash about him. Also, Chris Jericho and Jake Hager comes in and fights Sean Spears, MJF and Wardlow. And I say myself, it's the numbers gang, so I don't know. I was gonna work it in their favor. It did for a little bit, but then also they started losing it once they got into the ring because the fight started from backstage all the way to the ring. And then they would like to take out Chris Jericho of his bad arm. All of a sudden, Sammy Guevara comes out. So I'm like, oh, Sammy Guevara, he's back now. He helps out. And heels retreat. The Pinnacle retreats. So Sammy Guevara says, about it, the crowds were chanting, Sammy, Sammy. So Sammy Guevara, because the promo says that Wednesday, says that on Wednesday the company, before he said that, let's see, where's that promo he cut? Okay, it's not there, but I remember what he said though. He says the company chose the wrong guy to be on the poster, chose the wrong guy to be to be featured on the action figure. Chose the wrong guy, period. And he says on Wednesday the company is going to find out that he was already that he already knows that they put the wrong guy on the posters. Okay, it does say there. Okay, I must have missed it. And in the action figures and basically the wrong guy. And he says on Wednesday, I'll show you why I'm the best ever, and you know it. Great promo there from Sammy Guevara. Great promo to build up a match between Sammy Guevara and MJF. Except for one thing. This should be on that pay-per-view. Hell, it could be even one on the specials of Wednesdays. That when they're gonna be back on the road for Dynamite. A chance to Road Rager. They could have saved it for Road Rager. They could have saved it for Fighter Fest, either night 1 or night 2, maybe. Maybe you could save it for Fight for the Fallen, or maybe save it for a pay-per-view, like for example, All Out. What a concept! But instead, they decided to waste it on Dynamite, the return of Wednesday's Dynamite. That's what they wasted on. Not a fan of it, but you'll find out how I feel about the match 2 once I get to that review of it. So, but it's whatever. I digress. We get to the AEW TNT champion Miro saying that before he gets to the to face Brian Pillman Jr., which is gonna be on the Wednesday's Dynamite, which I'm gonna talk about that one too, once we get that review. He wants to thank God for making him powerful and his hot wife flexible. She's gotta be after being put to a table about 9 times in WWE. Just saying. Miro says people like Pillman attack him for no reason. Really? The way that we played that on that video of Miro attacking Griff Garrison. But when the but when he tried to help a woman in need, which played before, he says Pillman might be ranked at the top of the tag team division, but he's going to have issues with someone like Miro, one-on-one. Miro calls himself God's favorite champion and says that the bravest thing he ever did was thinking of attacking Miro, and the stupidest thing ever he's done is actually doing it. And I thought it was a good promo. So basically, Miro's character now, he's supposed to be who's a heel, but also is very very religion. Okay. But I guess it worked in a way for him. I guess it was a sign of what was going to come after he does a Kip Sabian, where he says, "I forgive you." After you officially beat him up and all that, and hospitalize him, and then he says, "I forgive you." Something like that. Whatever. Ethan Page with Scorpio Sky at ringside versus Bear Bronson with Bear Boulder at ringside. So the match happens. Ethan Page and Bear Bronson were having a back and forth. Very very decent match. Scorpio Sky got involved. Even Bear Boulder because he's there for for Bear Bronson. But in the end, Ethan Page had to cheat to win by way. Low blow. It goes for the 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 Eagles edge, meant to say. And think about it, Bear Bronson, he's big. Not that big, but he's big. And Ethan Page, he took it was like a Boros toss. That's basically what it is, by the way, a Boros toss. But he goes to Eagles edge. Because it is like a crucifix bomb, where since to raise Ramon to Razor's edge. So we get Scorpio Sky cutting a promo saying that a moment to gloat about basically he was gloating about Ethan Page winning. Then Page gets the microphone and says, "I'm not stupid," and the crowds were like, "Yes, you are." And then Ethan Page says he knows for a fact that Darby Allin is down. I mean, it's not down with him. He's pinning, basically saying pinning on Darby Allin is not enough for Ethan Page. Said that he wants the nail in the coffin on Darby Allin, and said on July 7th in Miami he'll challenge Darby Allin to a coffin match. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna have our first ever coffin match. We'll get to happen on that Wednesday once we get that announcement. Change plans in a way. I mean, the match is still going to happen though, but it's changed plans because of something else, which we'll get to when we get to it on that Wednesday's on that Wednesday night's Dynamite review. AEW Women's World Champion Britt Baker and Reba Rebel, which I want to say, laughing about Vicky Guerrero getting a chance to ask Tony Khan for a favor, and it's a wrestling match. Baker says that she's the face of the new era, and she doesn't have time for an old woman in the ring. Excuse me. This is Britt Baker saying this, by the way. In advance for beating your ass as in our next match on Wednesday, but saying that Vicky Guerrero. Can't remember what she said about Vicky Guerrero, but all I know is that the promo that Britt Baker cut, it was pretty damn good. She's really getting better with her promos now, because for a while I was hating her promos. I was hating her promos more than I was hating her wrestling. But she's getting really better with that though. So then Vicky Guerrero is with Nyla Rose, and she says that the tag team match is just gonna be solidified that Rose is the number one contender for the title, and Nyla Rose says they will be locked in a ring with the best, but they need to watch out for the claws for of the cougar, I meant to say, which is Vicky Guerrero, by the way. And then they noted that Britt Baker and Nyla Rose will face each other at Fyter Fest. Now, they didn't mention which night is Fyter Fest. They're gonna wrestle each other, either night 1 or night 2. Don't know. Chris Statlander with Orange Cassidy versus the Bunny with the Blade. They mentioned something about Trent. He had some kind of injury. I don't know if he had surgery. I don't remember the exact words from Tony Schiavone was. Spinal stenosis, something like that. And I said to myself, really? But he hasn't been wrestling that much, though. What happened? So he's going to be all action again. I'm like, wow. He just came back too. Like, what the hell? It's really disappointing. Cause I was loving the Chris Chandler being added to the best friends with Orange Cassidy as well. I love that that chemistry. I love that connection. I love that they paired them. They pair her with them. If it really goes well, and then this happens, unfortunately. But yeah, but Chris Chandler had a match against the Bunny. Decent match. The Bunny trying to cheat to win, by the way, with the brass knuckles that the Blade put in there. But then Orange Cassidy takes the brass knuckles away, put it in his pocket, leaves with it. As Chris Chandler takes advantage and gets the win over on the Bunny. And yeah, Chris Chandler gets the win. But after the match, Orange Cassidy and Chris Chandler celebrating all that. The Blade just blasts Orange Cassidy, and then Orange Cassidy just ran into basically with him being rammed by the Blade. He bumps right into Chris Chandler. She takes a bad fall out of the ring. Orange Cassidy goes out right on the Blade. Also, Hanigo and Jack Evans, TH2. They came out. They start beating him up. They hold him as the Blade gets the brass knuckles that he took from the Bunny from his pocket, by the way, and then boom, hits him with it. And Orange Cassidy still being held on by TH2 until they finally let him go, and then he collapsed. I thought that was nice, by the way, very nice. And luckily they kept him off TV for 1 week, because something like that happens to him, he has to be off of TV for 1 week. So yeah, take notes, Chris Jericho. Just saying. Tony Schiavone talks with QT Marshall and basically about Brock Anderson, getting a victory over him, where they on the celebrating and all that. It's like, but I beat Cody Rhodes, but I wasn't celebrated, and everything. So, basically, he's gonna say something about he's gonna work his way, to beat Cody Rhodes, and once he does that, pertains to their what they call it, the South Miami Beach strap match, whatever it's called. And he says he's gonna pursue of him becoming a champion. And I said to myself, why do we care about QT Marshall being a champion? Now I don't mind him being a tag team champion, where he was with Dustin Rhodes at the time, where the Natural Nightmares. I was fine with that. But why do we care of QT Marshall being a champion? Yeah. Brian Pillman Jr. Brian Pillman Jr.'s message to Miro saying that who he thinks has a Messiah complex. Pillman thinks that Miro just picks fights with people, and he thinks he can beat people up. Pillman says that he was born on the wrong side of the tracks, and Miro is going to get his ego checked next time on the next Dynamite, should say. Which pertains to the Wednesday nights shows, which we'll get to that when I get to that review But yeah, I thought it was a good promo there from Brian Pillman Jr. though. He's got that from his father's side, so yeah. Eddie Kingston says all the Young Bucks are about is their ego and their titles. The titles fed those egos, and the only way to hurt them is take away their championship. And then Penta Zermelo says to Matt and Nick Jackson to talk about all the people they run over. But the next episode of Dynamite, they're gonna run them over. And basically you have Alex Abrahantes, translate for Penta El Zero Miedo. So, and then they end by doing Zero Miedo. Maybe at time. The AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega, being accompanied by Don Callis, who ends up being on commentary, who's being accompanied by the Good Brothers, versus Jungle Boy, who's being accompanied by Jurassic Express. And it's for the AEW World Championship title match. Now, before the match even started, actually the match actually did start, but then, all of a sudden, Marcus Stunt, excuse me, you guys are going to go after maybe one of the Good Brothers, I guess, whatever, until referee Paul Turner, got rid of Jurassic Express, and then told Good Brothers to leave too, because it should be a clean one-on-one match, and it was, sort of. But yeah, but the match happens, and Jungle Boy's family was there, by the way. The mother, the sister, and I think the aunt was there too. And all I can say is, I just wish that the father was there. Luke Perry, the late great Luke Perry. But I know in spirit, he was there for his son, Jack Perry, to see him getting a title shot of the most prestigious world championship title match. Of the most prestigious world title in pro wrestling. One of the most prestigious world titles in pro wrestling, and that's the AEW world title. But so they're in this match, right? And they were killing each other in this match. Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy. And you saw a little nerves from Jungle Boy, especially when there was a spot that look at it was gonna it's gonna be a little screwed, but it was still nailed. Not perfectly, but it was still nailed. Very, very good. But yeah, this ends up being sort of a clean match in a way. Good Brothers came back out though, because they were cheering on for Omega to get back up, whatever. Jungle Express comes out, and then all of a sudden Frankie Kazarian comes out of nowhere. Because you remember, he's the Elite Hunter, the Punisher too. By the way, apparently he's called the Punisher too, or whatever. But yeah, they all start fighting Good Brothers and all that out there, so they could be just 1-on-1. So at one point they try to give us convince us Jungle Boy was gonna win. I was expecting a surprise victory here for Jungle Boy, or shock either way it's the same thing. I was expecting that, but since I wasn't really expecting that either, because they probably want Kenny Omega to still be the champion until we get the Hangman and the Page get the opportunity to be the one to beat Kenny Omega, because that's been the plan all along. But yeah, and plus Jungle Boy, he's too young. He's got a long way to go before they decide to put the belt on him. So if they're gonna put a belt on him, put the TNT title belt on him. That is a big if he's the idea later on against Miro, instead of someone else that they're probably gonna think of doing, which will that's gonna boggle my mind about why of all people him. But we'll get to it when we get to it. Hopefully when we cross that line, we'll get there. I don't think anyone's thinking about this too, by the way. I don't even want to think about this, but we'll get to that when we get to it. If it's not what I think it is, I'll admit that I was wrong, and I'll admit who I thought it was. So that'll be a teaser for later. Once we get there, don't know when they're gonna do it, but we'll see how they pull that trigger. But anyways, so yeah, at one point, the snare trap to Kenny Omega by Jungle Boy. But then Omega gets him by the hair, gets him by the eyes, whatever. Basically, Omega's playing dirty there. So sort of clean, but not sort of clean. V-Trigger, Dragon, Tiger Driver, I would say 98. But Jomo kicked out. Then he's like, Omega's like, screw this. I'm going for the one wing the Angel, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. Your winner still the AEW World Champion, Kenny Omega. After the match, though, Omega's going to take a cheap shot to Jungle Boy, with the belt. Christian Cage comes out though. He makes a save. All of a sudden, the Hardy Family office came out to help for the save to beat up on Christian Cage. But Christian Cage fall back though. I could swear someone else came out there too. I can't remember on that. But I do remember Christian Cage on find him off though. But then Matt Hardy drops Christian Cage and then basically go for the twist of fate. But Christian Cage goes for a counter for the kill switch. But then out of nowhere, Young Bucks came out, super kick party, and then Omega erases the title belt and all that, and basically stand tall over Jungle Boy and Christian Cage, and that was it. That's how the show ended, by the way. Now I don't remember if Kingston and Penta came out afterwards, but they based on what I saw, they probably did after the show was off the air because of what Eddie Kingston said, basically taking a shot at WWE, which it never ceases to amaze me. Basically, taking shots at WWE, but also at the same time pulling over AEW. But yeah, it was one of those exclusive things that they show on YouTube on their channels, obviously. But yeah, there you go. Not much to say about that. But yeah, there you go. As far as the main event was, great main event match, by the way. Great main event match. Love the match. So there you go. That was my conclusion of AEW Dynamite from June 26, 2021. Unless I got the date wrong. Oh, actually, yeah, I was right. June 26, 2021. Now I'm trying to count how many matches were the total amount. Five matches. Was it 5 matches? Unless I'm missing something. Okay, let me see. Let me double check. Yeah, I think it was 5 matches. Yeah, 5 matches. But the total mark was the same. And my overall strength for the show, I'm gonna go with a 9 out of 10. Good ass show. Good ass Saturday night show, by the way. And that's not the two. Pertains to Kenny Omega versus Jungle Boy. What that happened up to now on the show too as well. That's one thing I fucking mentioned, which is the highlight video. They showed Bray Lee, or pertains to last time they did Saturday Night Dynamite. Bray Lee beat Cody Rhodes in a squash way, to be the TNT champion. And then can history repeat itself on the Saturday Night Dynamite with Jungle Boy becoming the AEW World Champion? Nope. I mean, they did it very convincing though. They made it look very convincing that Jungle Boy was going to get the job done, but nope, didn't happen. So that's something I should point out too. So, but there you go. That's all I gotta say, folks. But yeah, 9 out of 10 show. Great show. Great show for this great main event match too that they show between Kenny Omega and Jungle Boy. Now that being said, thank you for watching. It's the Natural Born Thriller saying peace on the streets. For you to stay well, stay safe, take care of yourself, everything that's going on in the world. Wear your mask, get vaccinated. Love one another, God bless one another, live in peace and harmony for us all. Well, I am out here. Ta-ta for now. Take care.